Alright, what up? It's Leo here, coming from Vancouver, and I will give you a quick review and the things that I've done here in Vancouver the last 4 days. So I've been here in tourist mode, and right now I am in the waterfront. So I will quickly review the things that I've done in Vancouver, and also tell you about how I compare Vancouver to other cities, specifically Toronto, and just give you a general overview of Vancouver. So this is the waterfront in the downtown area of Vancouver. Okay, and as you can see behind me are all these really cool mountains. So upon arrival, I went with a friend of mine to the mountains. What up? It's Leo here in British Columbia on some kind of mountains, Shannon Falls Mountains. And behind me, we have a bunch of cool nature. So this getting up here took about 30 minutes of hiking, maybe 30 to 40 minutes. Straight up climb. And now we get to witness trees on mountains. And then the following day, I took a electric bike, rented it from this place called Easy Ride. And I rented an electric bike. I just took it all around Vancouver, all around the downtown area, including the park that's over there. And this right here is called Stanley Park. Apparently it's 10% bigger than Central Park from what I've read. Okay, and you can go around it. The edge of it is called the seawall, so you just kind of go around it. It takes about maybe an hour, hour and a half on bicycle, maybe less time, maybe more time. And it's a really nice scenic view of the nature. The following day after that, I just kind of went back to the downtown core and did more exploring, walked around in this centralized condominium area. So this is the downtown core, pretty much all looks like this for the most part, with these high-rise buildings. Behind me is a noisy airplane. Over there usually is a cruise ship that lands. And just behind these buildings, you can't really see, but there's a lookout. You can climb to the top, and there's a really nice 360 panoramic view of the city itself with a lot of information. So a lot of the things that I'm telling you is actually from the panoramic view. So after that, last night I went to salsa dancing, and Vancouver has like a moderately sized, kind of small to moderate sized salsa community, which is still pretty cool. Had some fun, and that was nice. Okay, now how do I compare Vancouver to other parts of the world? So Vancouver has a lot of nature. As you can see behind me, it's just pretty much surrounded by mountains in every direction, and there's more than one trail. The one trail that I went to was the Shannon Falls, but it just keeps going. And then you have the Stanley Park, which is behind me. It's a really, really massive park. Really amazing, actually, just the amount of nature you can see here, especially compared to Toronto. Oh, and if you continue going around Stanley Park, there's a bridge there that's called the Lion's Head Bridge, and once you cross it, you can continue going a little bit north until you get to this place called the Capilano Suspension Bridge, which is, kind of this ultra touristy, man-made section where they have this giant suspension bridge that overlooks a river. Okay, so if that's your thing, if you want to go see some touristy stuff, that's a really interesting thing to see. Other than that, Vancouver is considered one of the most livable cities in the world. It's been rated the top 10 by a bunch of rating agencies many, many times over. The accommodations here are relatively expensive. You're looking at hotels minimum of $150 to $200 minimum USD per night. So there's not a lot of hotel accommodations. Hostels, pretty much inexistent. And if there are hostels, you're still looking to pay a pretty high price. Literally, your best option would be to take an Airbnb. Airbnb will save you so much cash. You'll be looking anywhere from $40 US to maybe $60 US, which is the cost of a nice hotel in another country. But here in Vancouver, this is the best you can do. And of course, the Airbnbs are typically really nice too, because the people are responsible for you. There is no Uber, okay? There's a taxi application called eCab. You have to basically use that, and it just calls the regular cabs. You're not saving money like compared to Uber, but that's the best you can do. But the buses and the metro system here is pretty good if you're staying within the general Vancouver area. I didn't take any boats anywhere. There's a bunch of really cool places you can take boats to. So basically across the river, there's another town. I'm not sure the name of it. Vancouver, lots of nature, super safe. Accommodation's expensive, but otherwise it's the same. Everything else is the same cost as you see in the rest of Canada. And definitely recommended visiting and renting a bike. So if you can, rent a bike. Oh, and one last thing that's really interesting here is that, kind of like in other parts of the world, usually maybe the population is more homogenous in the sense that it's one particular group of people. Maybe like if you go to India, it's mostly Indians. If you go to Russia, it's mostly Russians. Here, there's a very fine split between Caucasian people, so typically from Europe or European descent, and this fine line between Asian, so the predominantly from China or Taiwan or Hong Kong, and from the Philippines. So I saw this interesting mix, like it just almost a line in between them in the middle, and they're both completely integrated into the society, both the white people and the Asian people, which is really interesting to see. Sort of how if you go to Toronto, you see a much broader mix. Here it's a much more split in between mix between Caucasians and Asians, which is still pretty cool, whatever. So Leo here, 2017 June, pretty much the end of May. We're going to get into June. Next up will be, maybe I'll do a review of Toronto, my hometown, and we will see you in India. Salute.